Okay, another weird developer coincidence has happened. Last month, I reviewed Ghost in the Shell standalone complex for the PlayStation 2. In that, I mentioned Ghost in the Shell on the PS1, developed by Exact, who later changed their name to Sugar and Rockets, who made today's game, Chase the Express. I didn't plan this. How does this keep happening? I pick games at random. Chase the Express wasn't even my first choice. I was going to do The Adventures of Monkey Hero, but when ripping the disc image to put on my PlayStation Classic, my PC was having none of it. Oh well, I'll try that again at a later date, if I can get hold of a better condition copy. Released in 2000, Chase the Express, known as Covert Ops Nuclear Dawn in the US. There's another pointless name change. Even the original Japanese title is Chase Expresu. I love Japanese/English word pronunciations, but even better is the Spanish title, El Expreso de la Muerte, Express of Death. This came just 2 months before the release of the PlayStation 2 here in Europe, a little late to the PlayStation 1 party, but there's one thing it managed to squeeze in before the next generation, one more Resident Evil clone. And oh boy, this gets Resident Evil-y up the arse, down to straight up ripping off puzzles, which I will outline later. Instead of zombies in a mansion, we have terrorists on a train. Russian terrorists to be exact. Pre-9/11, simpler times. Set in Eastern Europe, the terrorist group Knights of the Apocalypse, led by ex-KGB agent Boris Zagorsky, have boarded the luxury train The Blue Harvest. Somebody at Sugar and Rockets is a Star Wars fan. Travelling from St. Petersburg to Paris is the French ambassador Pierre Simon and his family. Kota, as I'll call them, have smuggled a nuke on board and is demanding $20 billion for the family and safe passage to Paris. NATO are spearheading this one, and after a bungled first attempt, there's only one member of the team left, our protagonist, Jack Morton. Emotionless, expressionless, the Mayor of Blandsville, Jack Morton. The voice acting in this is not quite as exquisitely bad as Resident Evil.
This is Lieutenant Jack Morton. The train has been taken over by terrorists in a sudden attack.
But it's still pretty bad. So, does this entire game take place on a train? Yes it does. It's a pretty long train, 16 cars I think, and it has 2 floors. Ooh, fancy. The PS1's limited capabilities means that the draw distance is quite low, for the most part. Silent Hill being the most famous example, so a lot of games use 2D pre-rendered backgrounds to compensate. Chase the Express's tight quarters means full 3D environments, with plenty of detail. Do these small spaces make it easy to navigate? No. This has old school tank controls up the arse. Remember how tricky it could be trying to do something as simple as walk through a door? Here, Jack has trouble walking in a straight line. If he goes at an angle that isn't quite right, you overcompensate and go too far the other way, making him slalom down the corridor like a drunk Geordie helping an American climb out of a window. Shit. Kota have called in attack helicopters because of course they have. Better shoot them down with a gun turret that's on board because of course it is. And well, this is the Blue Harvest, so...
I got him! Right, kid, don't get penisy!
That was something different. Chase the Express does have some unique things, like the turret sequence, and a part where Jack needs to return to the Blue Harvest after a temporary stop on a passing freight train, using the speed control to precisely line up the 2 trains under a time limit. This is tricky. Wait, don't you sort of do this in Final Fantasy VIII? But what about those non-unique Resident Evil comparisons I mentioned earlier? And by comparisons, I mean complete rip-offs. We have a limited inventory with the ability to check and combine items. Crate pushing, a chemical combining minigame, using a computer with a non-QWERTY on-screen keyboard, and emptying a bathtub to retrieve a key. Wow, Chase the Express. You're not even trying to be subtle. Oh well, at least it doesn't have annoying dogs. Fuck, it even has annoying dogs. Seriously now, Sugar and Rockets? Were you that kid in class too lazy to do their own homework and always copied off your friend? This is more of a technical feat than something with depth. Resident Evil may be slower and more static, but it oozed atmosphere and had a constant sense of dread. This does not. I never really felt in danger, and a sense of urgency that the game clearly wants you to feel is rarely there.
I have had it with these motherfucking
Russians,
on this motherfucking
train. Yeah, they're more of an annoyance than a threat. They show up randomly, sometimes blocking the narrow hallways. The Blue Harvest is 2 stories, so I found myself going to a different floor to avoid them when possible. You're not an intimidating threat, you're just in the way, you selfish bullet sponges that steal my ammo. And speaking of, if you thought ammo conservation was a pain in the balls in Resident Evil, this is worse. Enemies may drop ammo sometimes, but usually you're spending too much time engaging in the classic pastime of rubbing up against the scenery pressing the action button to find shit. Oh, another health pack. That's great and all, but I need ammo, damn it. As far as I could ascertain, there is no failsafe. Regular enemies can be taken down with a melee attack, but doing so without taking damage yourself is impossible. So what happens if you face a boss with little or no ammo? You're fucked. Reload a previous save, or even maybe start the whole game again on easy, but fuck that. Will Jack save the ambassador and his family? Yeah, probably, I don't care now. For me, the plot took a back seat. Chase the Express became a game of Oregon Trail, carefully rationing all your resources in fear of dying of empty gunyalosis. But is Chase the Express a bad game? No, it plays fine for this genre. Plenty of actiony FMVs featuring the standard PS1 FMV character models made out of sweaty clay. It's nothing special, but it's a perfectly decent example of the Resident Evil wannabes that came around that time. Technically good, but forgettable.
And the ambassador? What happened to him?
I don't know.